Hello everyone, Him Tutorials welcomes you to the new session, and in this session we are going to learn about the transportation in plants and animals, and the topic which we are going to discuss, that is related to the blood, and the subtopic which you are going to learn up to end of this session, that is the structure of the heart, how to draw a structure of heart. So let's begin with the introduction part first. The transport of material is very important because the transport of material will help to carry out life activities inside the body of an organism, and to transport different materials inside the body of an organism, a particular type of medium is required, and this medium will help in transporting the things, transporting the materials like hormones, enzymes and waste materials from one part to the other part of the body. So let's discuss first the modes of transport in plants and animals. So modes of transport, in case of animals it is circulatory system, and in case of plants it is vascular system. The circulatory system, which is in case of animals, it includes blood vessels and heart. We will discuss about each topic in detail which is related to the animals. But in case of plants, vascular system comprises two type of vessels, that is xylem and phloem. Xylem help in carrying out the water and phloem helps to carry out the food inside the body of an plant. Okay. So this is all about the modes of transport in case of animals and plants. Animals have circulatory system and plants have vascular system in them, which is also called as vascular bundle. Now let's discuss about the types of vessels and types of cells which are present in the blood. Circulatory system is the life support system which provides food and oxygen to the cells and also carry out different materials, waste materials from the cells to the other organs of the body, and from those organs, from those systems, the waste materials are taken out or expelled out from our body. The circulatory system mainly comprises of three things, that is blood, blood vessels and heart. First we are going to discuss about the blood. So the blood is connective tissue, it is viscous in nature, means it is thick in nature, and also this blood comprises two parts, that is plasma plus blood cells, or you can also name them as blood corpuscles. The plasma is the yellow colored fluid and is non-living. It forms majority of volume of blood, and its main function is to help in exchanging the materials. If I talk about the blood cells or blood corpuscles, then blood cells and blood corpuscles are of three types inside the blood. that is RBCs, WBCs and platelets. RBCs are called as red blood cells and they are red in color because of the respiratory pigment which is called as hemoglobin. Now main function of hemoglobin is to combine with the oxygen, and when it combines with the oxygen it will form oxyhemoglobin, and this oxyhemoglobin will travel all the way to all the cells inside the body and it provides the oxygen to all the cells. With that oxygen glucose combined, and when glucose and oxygen is combined then carbon dioxide, water and energy is released. That energy is utilized by the body of an organism to do various life activities. The lifespan of these RBCs are 90 to 120 days. WBCs are those cells which are called as white blood cells, and these white blood cells will help in fighting along with the diseases or disease causing agents which are present in a body, and they also help in strengthening of the immune system of the body. These platelets are the smallest one, and these platelets help mainly in the clotting of blood. So this is the main superficial discussion about the types of cells and the plasma part of the blood, and blood is a combination of both the things, that is plasma and blood cells. Now we will discuss about the type of blood vessels which are present in the body of an human. The blood vessels which are present in the body of human, they are of three types: artery, veins and capillary. Arteries are having with the narrow lumen. Okay, veins are having with a wide lumen, and capillaries are the smallest blood vessels. Also, arteries, if they have narrow lumen, then the blood which they carry, that is carried in high pressure. And if they are carrying high pressure blood, these arteries always have or always carry oxygenated blood, because the blood is purified inside the heart and the arteries will carry the blood from the heart to the different parts of the body. In case of veins, if I discuss, the lumen of the vein is wide, and if the lumen of the vein is wide, then the blood which is present inside the veins, that is having low pressure, or that is travelling in low pressure. Also, if the blood is travelling in low pressure, there might be some chances that blood can push back into the veins again. But to check that backflow, there is presence of the what? There is presence of the valves. The main feature of the veins is that they carry deoxygenated blood. And if they carry deoxygenated blood, it means the veins are carrying blood from all the body parts to the heart for the purification. From body parts to the heart for purification. Okay, and the capillaries are the third one. They are the smallest one of all the three, smallest vessels, and also they help in exchange of materials. Here in case of arteries and veins, there is one exception. All the arteries carry oxygenated blood, but there is one exception, that pulmonary artery carry deoxygenated blood, and this is present in the heart. Also, all the veins carry deoxygenated blood, but the pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood. This is exception. Okay, and this pulmonary vein is also present in the heart, or you can say it is related to the heart. So these are the two exceptions. Also, there is one more feature, that arteries are embedded deep in the skin. Okay, because they are carrying oxygenated blood, and veins are superficial. You can see different colors of vessels running. So just beneath the skin, different you can say dark and light, greenish and bluish color veins are running. And why they are greenish and bluish color? Because they are carrying what? They are carrying deoxygenated blood. So veins are superficial and arteries are embedded deep inside the skin, and the capillaries are present mainly in the organs for the exchange of the materials. So this is all about the three type of blood vessels, and now we will discuss about the heart, and first we will draw the structure of the heart. Now let's draw the structure of the heart. We know that heart has got 4 chambers in it, and if we look closely towards the heart, then heart is little bit tilted towards the left side of the body. Okay, and it has 4 chambers. Also, the sides of the heart, left side and right side, that is divided by a thick septum, and this septum will not allow the mixing of the blood, that is oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood. So these are the upper 2 chambers. The upper 2 chambers are called as the auricles, and the lower 2 chambers are called as the ventricles. Here 2 vena cavas are present, which are bringing blood to the heart for the purification, and here again 2 veins are present. These are pulmonary veins, and they will bring the blood from the lungs towards the heart, and that they will bring the oxygenated blood. So let's label the diagram, and then I will draw 2 more structures which are attached to this 2 ventricles. Okay, so this is the right ventricle, this is the right auricle, this is the left auricle, and this is the left ventricle. So there are 4 chambers. Okay, the upper 2 are the auricles, also called as atria, and the lower one are the ventricles. Okay, this heart is, you can draw like this, double membrane in it. Okay, now you have to make this type of structure here, and this structure is directly connected, this T-shaped structure is directly connected to the right ventricle. Now another structure is there which is attached to the left ventricle. So this, like this, you can make two separate vessels. These are the thick vessels. One will carry blood, deoxygenated blood to the lungs, and one will carry oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. Now we will label the whole diagram. This is the septum, which is dividing the heart into two main parts, that is the right part and the left part. Also, these two are the vena cavas. This is inferior vena cava. It is bringing the blood from the lower parts of the body, and the blood which is brought by the inferior vena cava and the superior vena cava, that is deoxygenated blood. Now inferior vena cava and superior vena cava, they are bringing deoxygenated blood into the right auricle. Okay, this is the right auricle. I will and write this labeling also. Right auricle. This is right ventricle. This is left auricle, and this is left ventricle. Also, this right auricle and right ventricle, they are having one valve here, opening here, which is a tricuspid valve to check the backflow of blood from the right ventricle to the right auricle. This is tricuspid valve. Now on the other side, there is another one valve, and it also helps in checking the backflow of blood from the left ventricle to the left auricle, and this is bicuspid valve. Two more valves are there, which are the semilunar valves, which are present in, this is the pulmonary artery, and one more valve which is a semilunar valve, and it is present in aorta. So this is aorta. This pulmonary artery is also having what? Semilunar valve, and this aorta is also having with semilunar valve to check the backflow of the blood. Now let's discuss that how the blood flows from the auricles to the ventricles, then to the lungs, then from the lungs it return back, and from it is returning back, then how it is passed to the body parts. So first the blood, that is the deoxygenated blood, that comes from the inferior vena cava and superior vena cava, and that blood enters inside the right auricle. Now as the right auricle is filled with blood, the pressure is generated on the walls of the auricles. Now this time this valve opens and the blood will pass from the right auricle to the right ventricle, from the right auricle to the right ventricle through this tricuspid valve. Now the blood is entered inside right ventricle, and when the blood is entering inside the right ventricle, again the pressure inside the right ventricle starts increases. Firstly, there was pressure generated on right auricle, and that time the right ventricles are what? They are relaxing themselves. When they are relaxing themselves, then the pressure is generated on the right auricle, and as the pressure is become more on the right auricle, that time semilunar valve, you can say that time the tricuspid valve open and the deoxygenated blood from the right auricle enters into the right ventricle. Now the blood starts filling in the right ventricle, and after some time what happens? The right ventricle also filled with the blood, and this time the pressure is generated on the walls of the right ventricle. Now right ventricle will pass the blood, deoxygenated blood, to the pulmonary artery, and as the pulmonary artery will carry the blood towards the lungs, and in the lungs there is purification of the blood take place, means deoxygenated blood is entering through the pulmonary artery. This deoxygenated blood will enter into the lungs through the pulmonary artery, and there it get oxygenated. Now the oxygenated blood will enter from the vein, and these veins are called as pulmonary veins. As we know that veins carry what? All the veins of the body carry deoxygenated blood, but only the pulmonary vein is exception, because the pulmonary vein is carrying what? Pulmonary vein is carrying oxygenated blood, and this oxygenated blood from the lungs will enter into the left auricle. Now left auricle has got the blood, oxygenated blood. Now the pressure will increase in the left auricle. As the pressure increases in the left auricle, then the bicuspid valve opens, and through the bicuspid valve the blood will start entering into the left ventricle. Now left ventricle got filled with the blood. When the left ventricle got filled with the blood, then pressure is generated over there, and when the pressure is generated on the walls of left ventricle, then with pressure the blood, oxygenated blood, will enter from the left ventricle to the aorta, and from the aorta the oxygenated blood will pass to different parts of body. Okay, so this is the main entering and leaving of the blood inside and outside the heart. Means the blood is coming in the right auricle first, then that deoxygenated blood will come into the right ventricle. From the right ventricle it will move from the pulmonary artery to the lungs for the purification. That purified blood, that oxygenated blood will enter from the pulmonary veins inside the left auricle. From the left auricle the blood will move to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle the oxygenated blood will move through the aorta to the different parts of the body. Means aorta is giving the oxygenated blood with the help of high pressure to all the arteries, and artery will carry the blood to the next arterioles, and arterioles will give the oxygenated blood to each and every cell. What happens there? The exchange of gases take place there. Oxygen is given and carbon dioxide is received. When the blood receives carbon dioxide, that time the blood becomes deoxygenated. That deoxygenated blood will carry from the different veins of the body, and the inferior vena cava will carry the blood from the lower parts of the body, and superior vena cava will carry blood from the upper parts of the body and that deoxygenated blood will again enter into the right auricle, or you can say inside the heart, for the purification. So this is the whole cycle, that how the blood revolves, or you can say make a cyclic process inside the heart. Now there is one thing, that both the auricles at one time they contract, and both the ventricles at one time they relax. Okay, auricles contract at one time, relax at one time, ventricles contract at one time and relax at one time. When for the first time, as the blood is entering into the right auricle through the body, that is deoxygenated blood, and the oxygenated blood is coming from the lungs into the left auricle, same time in the right auricle, in the left auricle, the oxygenated and the deoxygenated and the oxygenated blood is filled, and that time the pressure is increased on both the auricles, as right auricle is having what? Deoxygenated blood, and left auricle is having what? Oxygenated blood. So they both start contracting at one time, and now at same time the right auricle will pass its deoxygenated blood into the right ventricle, and the left auricle will pass its oxygenated blood to the left ventricle. Now the right ventricle and the left ventricle, they are getting their blood at the same time, and when they get the blood at the same time, as one is getting the deoxygenated blood and left ventricle is having the oxygenated blood, then that time what happen? For the first time, to check the backflow of the blood in both right ventricles and left ventricles, these two valves closed at one time. When they close at one time, that time they produce the first sound of the heart, that is lub. Okay, now right ventricle and left ventricle, they both are having high pressure of the blood. Now they want to release their pressure, and as they want to release their pressure, right ventricle will pass its blood to the pulmonary artery, and left ventricle will pass its blood to the aorta. And now the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle start moving to the pulmonary artery, and the blood from the left ventricle will start moving towards the aorta, and this is the oxygenated blood. Now for the second time, these two valves, these two semilunar valves, they get closed at once. Okay, and that sound is produced as dub. So the heart produces the sound, that is the lub dub. For the first time, lub is produced when both the bicuspid and the tricuspid and the bicuspid valves, they close at one time. And the second sound, dub sound is produced when both the semilunar valves of the pulmonary artery and the aorta, they close once. So this is the sound which is produced by the heart, that is lub and dub. And the heart beats 72 times in 1 minute. Okay, or you can say a healthy person is having its heartbeat, that is 72 times 1 minute. Okay, so this is all about the structure of the heart, the working of the heart. So up to our next video, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.